to be right. Don't just win. Talk with your retailer or visit Brevant.com/win to get started.
Don't touch that dial. You are tuned into Whiffle's Country WYFF, the station that's been family-owned and fiercely independent for almost 80 years. No nonsense, just common sense and chart-topping corn hybrids coming to farm gates all over the Central Corn Belt. Stay tuned for more Whiffle's Country hits like She Thinks My Colonel's Sexy, I Got 99 Problems But Yield Ain't One, and Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Sell Soybeans. Thanks for listening, and remember to keep it independent with Whiffle's Hybrids.
Paul Scarron, CEO of Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. With October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, our state-of-the-art 3D mammo machine can help detect early cancer. Find out details by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
You're from the Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today is Ashlyn Burrus with DeWitt County Dove. Good to see you, Ashlyn. How are you today?
Great to see you. I'm doing well.
Yeah, thanks for coming out and talking with us. Always good to have you in. And we've got, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Just talked to the Piatt County Sheriff's investigator about some of the things that he's seeing as it relates to that. It's a heavy topic, but one that needs to be talked about. Let's just kind of dive into this month in particular. Is there a theme for this month? Is there anything you're focused on in particular this October?
Well, okay. So obviously, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I think it's great that in October we raise awareness for domestic violence. Well, I think a big thing to think even too is like October is a month leading up to the holidays. Mm-hmm. And the holidays, there's a lot of tension because of finances, mm-hmm. drinking, and just holidays are stressful at times for people. So I feel like before the holidays, it's good that we think about this domestic violence issue because it's going to get probably bad around the holidays for some mm-hmm. individuals.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, and so at its most basic level, I guess, what does domestic violence entail? What does it look like? For someone there's probably a lot of people, Ashlyn, that have just never been associated with this. They've grown up with healthy relationships around them and they've never seen it. What does it look like?
So domestic violence, a lot of people think that it can just be really any abuse from anyone, mm-hmm. but that's not the case. So domestic violence has to be abuse mentally, financially, physically, spiritually, sexually, from someone that you might have shared a home with, or someone that you're related to, or someone that you are in a relationship with or were in a relationship with.
Gotcha.
So it can't just be like your neighbor, or it can't be someone that like
you just have a feud with. Yeah, definitely. Well, and so when it comes to these situations, there's a lot of there's a cyclical nature to them, right? Break down that cycle, if you will, that cycle of abuse. How about that?
So that cycle of abuse, first, there's a tension building. There's tension building. The tension increases. There's a breakdown, maybe of a communication. Mm-hmm. Victims becoming fearful, and then they feel the need to placate the abuser. Then secondly, there's an incident. So maybe verbally, emotionally, physically, mm-hmm. Maybe blaming, anger, arguing, threats, or possibly intimidation. Mm-hmm. And then third, there's that reconciliation. So the abuser apologizes. The abuser possibly gives excuses, blames the victim, mm-hmm. denies the abuse even occurred, mm-hmm. or says that it wasn't as bad as the victim even claims. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And then like after that reconciliation, there's normally like a calm. The incident's forgotten. There's no abuse taking place. That honeymoon phase again. Mm-hmm. So that honeymoon phase, like maybe that abuser's like taken the victim out on dates again, gifting them with things, saying, I'm so sorry, I'm going into therapy, or I'm going to be working on things, and like
a commitment to change.
Like their actions seem so different, but it's kind of like they're just being fake, because there's that cycle. It's going to happen again, because with an abuser and a narcissist, it doesn't just happen one time and it's done.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask. Does this happen over and over and over again? I mean, obviously that's why it's called a cycle, I presume.
Yes,
so
for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, normally abuse from an abuser that's also a narcissist or someone that is like that, it's not just going to happen one time. There's a pattern, and like you said, a cycle. So
sure.
It's not just going to happen once, most likely.
Well, and I wonder, when you go through the cycle for the first time as a victim, does it start with a high intensity, or does it build up more steam the more times you go through it?
I'd say what you said last about like it'll be more intense, maybe more steam after it's been happening and after it keeps happening, because like normally with abuse, and what I've seen too with people I've helped, is normally it escalates, and normally it's with the pattern, it just normally gets worse over time, unfortunately.
Yeah, right. At what point do victims start to reach out to places like Dove? Is it the first time? Is it the fifth time? Do you even keep track of that?
Well, I'd say both. Sometimes it's that first time, but I think a lot of times it's repeatedly, or they finally realize that this is a pattern, or someone gives them resources, or it gets to the point where it's so bad that now they actually really decide to get the help.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go through getting help and that process. Again, Ashlyn Burrus with Dove of DeWitt County, our guest in studio today. We talk about October being Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Someone comes to you with a problem, and that problem, I'm sure, can range in what their situation looks like and what they're going through. What are you doing with them? What's your process?
Well, it depends on what they're going through, what their situation is like, and truly what they tell me that they'd like help with too at times, but it just depends. Sometimes it's people that really just need me to help them and walk them through getting an order of protection. Maybe it's sometimes people that come to me that need to get into shelter, or sometimes it's people that are in just crisis mode and need someone to talk or vent to for a couple hours, and then they decide, okay, maybe it's time to get that order of protection, or maybe it's time to flee. But a lot of times people come to me for that legal advocacy, getting an order of protection, me going to court with them for support, and getting them referrals and maybe getting into therapy too.
Yeah. When it comes to those legal orders of protection, what does that do for the victim? Is that an avenue to safety, or what happens with that?
So for me, like, I wouldn't say it's an avenue to safety, because just because someone has an order of protection, that doesn't mean the abuser will stop, or that doesn't mean the abuser couldn't still do something. But let's say they have an order of protection and it got granted, they have this against their abuser. If their abuser comes near them or tries to contact them, they're able to contact the police and try and get help. And then if they try to contact them or near them, and if they have an order of protection in place, then that would be a violation, and they could possibly get charged for that and go to jail.
Yeah.
So like there would be more consequences for their actions, but then there's also something in place with the court saying, okay, this person needs to stay so many feet away from this person, and this person cannot have any contact through call, text, anything along those lines.
Yeah. But it's not always as simple as just first time through the cycle, or, the cycle's been happening a couple of times. The victim recognizes that and they seek the help. It's not as simple as like, boom, it ends there.
Correct.
speak to that a little bit.
Yep. So I think with a lot of people that have experienced a lot of abuse and they may not recognize it the first time with the abuser, sometimes it's maybe finally hearing from someone what resources are available, or sometimes an advocate like myself sitting down with that person and explaining, okay, if these are your options of maybe ways you could get out of this, and explaining to people that have been maybe in a relationship for so long and haven't seen what healthy looks like, explaining to them what a healthy relationship looks like compared to something that wouldn't be healthy and what any relationship should have and shouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard stories of people that the abuse they've experienced, they just take it as, well, that's just how people are, that's just what a marriage or a relationship, whatever the case is supposed to look like. When someone is going through this process, Ashlyn, and I want you to speak to, if you could, the difficulty in actually leaving, and why that is so tough for a person. A lot of people from the outside looking in think, gosh, just leave, it's that easy. Just do it,
Right. We hear that question a lot. Why doesn't he or she just leave? And it's not as simple as that. Like, it's to leave. That's so scary. But also sometimes they think, well, what if an abuser has never let someone get a job? How are they going to do it financially? Sometimes they may think, or sometimes their abuser might have threatened them, okay, if you leave me, I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to kill your family if you leave. Or sometimes it's that they don't know how to. They need someone helping them with the process of maybe getting into housing, or someone maybe helping them with applying for a job because maybe they've never had a job.
Right.
So there's so many reasons why it can be so hard for someone to leave. And we on the outside, we can't just be like, why don't they just leave? Because we don't know the situation.
Right. And there's so many layers to this. I mean, we could just keep unpacking as we go this morning. Unfortunately, Ashlyn, I look at the clock. We need a timeout. We're going to talk candlelight vigil coming up on Thursday. Before we go to break, highlight that for us, the when, the where, what folks need to know.
So on Thursday is DeWitt County, DeWitt County's candlelight ceremony, which will be on Thursday. So that is October 16th, and that will be at the First Church of the Nazarene at 1220 Cleveland Drive, right here in Clinton at 6:30.
Very good. So check it out. We'll talk more about that when we come back with Ashlyn Burrus, DeWitt County Dove, our guest in studio this morning. More to come with Ashlyn on the morning show.
WHOW.
Here's Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson on why you should shop his store.
Well-thought decisions on our pricing and try to make sure that we have the right retail on the right items so that you don't have to go anywhere else. It's just such a fallacy that people think they have to drive out of town and put up with what they have to put up with in these stores, park 2,000 feet from the door and just go through that whole process.
Dave and his staff works hard to save you up to 40% on your food bill every day at your Clinton Save-A-Lot. And as Dave always says,
hope to see you soon.
Farmers, let's talk Pioneer brand Vorseed Enlist corn.
Yes, Coach!
Vorseed Enlist beats DeKalb's Smart Stacks and VT4 Pro yields by an average of 7.1 bushels per acre across more than 24,000 comparisons, right?
Yes, Coach!
And Vorseed Enlist has 3 modes of action against corn rootworm.
Yes, Coach!
Now get out there and grow! I guess being a Pioneer agronomist is like being a coach.
Plant the 100th season of Pioneer. Visit pioneer.com/rootworm.
Paul Scourin, CEO of Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton, here to remind you that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Warner Hospital has the same state-of-the-art 3D mammography technology as the larger hospitals, but also offers it in a compassionate, caring way close to home in Clinton. 3D offers more precise imaging for early detection of cancer and a significant reduction in radiation exposure. Book your preventative 3D mammo appointment at Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton by calling 217-935-9571.
Make this school year their strongest yet. Book your child's back to school or sports physical today at SIU Center for Family Medicine in Lincoln. Keep them healthy, focused, and ready for success. Find out more by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, Ashlyn Burrus with DeWitt County Dove in studio with us. And Ashlyn, we left off that last segment talking about the Thursday night annual candlelight ceremony for Dove. First of all, again, when, the where, and what goes on at this?
Okay, so the DeWitt County Dove Candlelight Ceremony, that will be this Thursday, October 16th at 6:30 p.m. At the First Church of the Nazarene, and that is right here in Clinton. The address is 1220 Cleman Drive. So what exactly happens at the candlelight ceremony? So it's a very meaningful community event. We gather to remember those who have maybe lost their lives to domestic violence, honor survivors, and stand in support of families and possibly friends that are still affected today.
Given the sensitive nature of this topic, can anyone come out for this?
Yeah, so everyone is welcome, the public, community members, families, friends, students, leaders, anyone in the public.
Gotcha.
You don't have to have a personal connection to come. Maybe you don't know anyone that is that was a friend or is a friend or a family member that might have experienced domestic violence. That doesn't matter if you haven't ever had a personal connection to around domestic violence. Still come because you will be able to learn a lot more about domestic violence, know the warning signs, know how to possibly in the future support someone that's been through domestic violence, and learn about different resources too.
Yeah, I've been to a few of these over the years, and it is really it's eye-opening, in a lot of ways, and not intense, but it's just very. Yeah, I think eye-opening is the best way to put it.
Sure.
So,
and your presence, like if you're able to come to the candlelight, your presence shows survivors that they're not alone and that our community truly cares.
Sure. So come on out for that. That's Thursday night. You said 6:30?
6:30.
Yeah, at the First Church of the Nazarene in Clinton. So how long does it last?
I'd say an hour and a half at the most, hour and a half, and then we'll have refreshments afterwards too.
Sure. Very good. So with that, let's continue on here this morning, Ashlyn. Of course, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Why is it so important to have these conversations and highlight this month? How about that?
Well, I think domestic violence is truly an issue that often stays very hidden. People don't a lot of people in today's world, we don't want to talk about it because it's something that's not good. So a lot of people don't want to talk about it. People are silenced, so it's very hidden. And I think, though, for domestic violence awareness month, like having domestic violence awareness month in October, it helps break the silence and support survivors. And we need to remind people that help is available.
For sure. Let's talk about getting help with Dove. And again, given the kind of sensitive nature of it, victims oftentimes want to be discreet about seeking help. What does that look like for Dove?
Right. Can you Can you
Like
repeat
someone,
that?
if someone wants to reach out to you, like how do they get that ball
Right.
rolling?
Okay. So if people need to reach out to me or Dove to get help, possibly with maybe getting counseling or getting help with the order of protection, they can call the DeWitt County office.
What's
the
that
Dove
number?
DeWitt County office. So that number is 217-935-6619 is the office number. But like say they're in a crisis or say it's after hours and they really need help. The DeWitt County Dove office has a 24-hour hotline number, and that number is 217-935-6072. Or let's say they don't have a phone, or maybe their abuser took their phone away, or maybe it's not working or shut off. Come by the DeWitt County office between 8:30 to 4:30 and see if I'm there, and I will for sure try and help you, and we can get through this. And then another thing too is I will give out my email in case someone ever doesn't have a phone or they can't get to the office. My email is A as in apple, B as in boy, and then URRUS at doveinc.org. If you ever need help, please reach out, and I'm going to try and get that help that you need.
Sure. Quickly, I've got a couple of minutes yet still with you, Ashlyn. Is there anything, maybe not necessarily specific to DeWitt County, but you're encountering of late on this issue that's of note to you that you want to put out there for us?
So a thing for me recently as an advocate here right in Clinton at the Dove office, I think I've had several individuals come to me probably in the past year, months of individuals coming to me for order of protections or needing counseling. And just, I've noticed a lot of individuals coming to me that have had the same abuser. So once one person or lady individual has left certain abusers, they've went to another individual, got into that relationship, and been abusive to this other person that now has to come to me for help. So I've had several different people coming to me with that same abuser that's needing help from abuse from them.
Is that a difficult situation for you?
It's very difficult because I'm like, it's so hard because I'm like, these individuals, when they're getting into a relationship with this abuser, they don't know that they're going to be abusive towards them until they are abusive towards them. And so it's very hard for me because I'm like, oh, I wish this would stop. And I wish
you could just tell them. Yeah.
I could just be like, just know and tell them. But it's just like, oh my gosh, this person again is doing this towards someone else now. It's very hard. But I know that they can get out of it too.
Well, Ashlyn, on that note, again, Candlelight Vigil, the when, the where, and how do folks get a hold of Dove?
So our candlelight ceremony, that's this Thursday on October 16th at 6:30, right at the First Church of the Nazarene, right here in Clinton. And to get a hold of Dove, if you ever need help, our crisis 24-hour hotline is 217-935-6072, and the DeWitt County office number is 217-935-6619.
That's Ashlyn Burrus, DeWitt County Dove. Our guest. Network News is now.